the foreign nationals use that facility, the building I'm talking about, that is located at number 7 Oyinjola Street, which anybody can mistake for the corporate headquarters of the financial institution. They use that building to train young Nigerians in the art of initiating romance and investment scams. And also, they use the identities of these Nigerians to perpetrate criminal activities. Indeed, all the floors in that building, 7-story building, all the floors are equipped with computers and other state-of-the-art gadgets. On the 5th floor of that building alone, we were able to recover 500 SIM cards of various local telcos. These were procured by these foreigners and given to Nigerians to use in cybercrime activities. Their Nigerian accomplices were recruited by the foreign kingpins to prospect for victims online through phishing, targeting mostly Americans, Canadians, Mexicans, and several others from European countries. They usually arm these young Nigerians with desktop computers, mobile devices, and create fake profiles for them. For those who show interest in this investment, activation fee for an account on that platform starts from $35. So far, our investigation has revealed that the criterion used by these Chinese and other foreign nationals used for recruiting young Nigerians into their nefarious activities is ability to use the computer, especially typing skills.
Well, that's Mr. Wilson Owujaren of the EFCC announcing the largest single arrest the Commission has made in one fell swoop. 792 people were arrested in one day. Of that number, 193 of them were said to be foreigners, while 599 were Nigerians. There are lots of questions to ask around that particular arrest and expectations, of course, from it as well. This morning, we're joined by Mr. Laolu Akande, who is a former special advisor, a senior special assistant to the president on media, and now just practicing as a journalist. Mr. Akande, it's good to see you.
Good to see you again.
I always enjoy this segment with you. I do not know why. Maybe I enjoy it a little too much. But this is what we were told just a few days ago, 2 days or three days ago, the EFCC made, but it was reported, I think, a day after this arrest that the EFCC made. As a journalist watching this and watching the announcement and seeing the number of people who were, displayed on the ground,
yeah.
I was looking for, exactly, I was looking for a better word, paraded, paraded, and I think that's a more appropriate word to use on the ground. What came to your mind? What were your thoughts when you saw them?
Yeah, okay, a few things, firstly, that we have to commend the leadership of the EFCC for being able to, expose this kind of stuff, because you will wonder how long this kind of conduct has been going on. In a very auspicious location in Lagos, for that matter, taking the whole building, I think about 7 floors.
Indeed.
It's just, it's mind-boggling, that this kind of stuff is going on. And the involvement of a significant number of foreigners who are clearly the brains behind this thing, and then the what I would call the perversion, of our own young people. So it is mind-boggling, and we are grateful for the kind of leadership that you have in the FCC that has exposed this, and hopefully we deal with it, legally. In terms of being a crime. But the larger issue, the larger worry that I have is that, we have to re-emphasize the urgency of the need for us to tackle this youth unemployment. We could see that there are quite a number of efforts that are on the ground. So it's not as if, the government and society said they are not doing anything, but we need to stress the urgency. you know, they could just get 500 Nigerian youths, you know, who, I don't even, we haven't spoken to them, so we don't even know how they got there. But of course, they must also know that this was crime, you know, because it's something that is based on deceit, you know, but I can find that like number in one place, you know, and like I said, we don't know how long this has been going on. It just tells us that we have very few luxuries when we are dealing with this problem of youth unemployment.
Is it really an unemployment issue, or is it a society value system that's a bit warped? To be honest, when I saw that crowd, it wasn't too shocking. In parts of India and other parts of the world where these sorts of crimes happen in groups like that, they rent offices like that as well.
Right.
In fact, we had a former EFCC chairman who actually partnered with the country, and they went and they knocked down an office, like they knocked down the doors of an office like that, also in Lagos, where they arrested a group of people like that. You know, so it's a trend that we see around the world. But my question really has to do with the root cause. I know that unemployment is a very big issue, right? But do many of these people who commit these sorts of crimes care about things like employment? They're more interested in fast money. So is it an unemployment situation, or is it a society where values and morals have broken down to a point where all people want to get is in my pocket fast, quickly, as opposed to having to come to work like me and Mark, driving to work in the morning, attending meetings, and you two doing all of this. many, I mean, in my mind, I want to get what your thoughts are. Do you think young people care about working? Many of these types of young people?
Well, I think that it's a whole society, whole governmental approach. So I don't see it as neither nor. Okay. It's everything working together. You are right. You know, we have very deep moral crisis. You know, the values have descended, as declined significantly, and so you know people will get into this kind of stuff. You know, so that's important. And it's also critical for us to say it, like you have raised a point, that look, while we are trying to sort out the reforms, many reforms in our economy, you know, essentially, and hopefully even in our politics, you know, we also have to deal with who we have become as a people. You know, we have become a people where even parents, you know, they think it's cool to get somebody to sit exams for their wards, you know, in examinations. There are miracle exam centers where everybody wants to go, and you know that, you know, we have settled down to just accept this thing. Somebody makes money, we don't even care, you know, the source of it. You're going to make him a chief, you know, is invited, even in some of our religious places of worship, and they are accorded places of honor. So the person that we have become, you know, is a big, as a matter of fact, it's even bigger actually than the reforms, but everything has to go pari passu, because even if somebody wants to be notorious, or somebody wants to do something that is not right, if they have compelling opportunities, because you will see that the decline in opportunities, you know, is what indicates the decline in morals. They go together. Okay. The opportunities are less, the morality value is also declining. So it's something that we need to work together. And what we have not done enough of, while we are doing a lot in the area of reform, we have not really done enough in trying to ask ourselves, who have we become as a people?
It's a key question. For me, when we discussed this particular issue, I remember Kayla highlighted it on the front pages of the dailies the day after this was reported. I was very concerned about the issue of capacity. You know, the EFCC, the EFCC arresting this large number of people. I imagine that part of the reasons why there will be so many people involved in this will be because people will think, if they catch me, it will not be only me. We are too many. You know, 792 people. Where's the holding cell to hold all of them? How are they going to process all of them? You know, does the EFCC have the manpower? So, to your mind, I mean, how do you see the EFCC being able to see this arrest through to the extent where there will be justice meted out?
Well, that's a very important question that you've raised, and something that crossed my mind also. Hopefully they will find a place to keep them, but
feed them?
To keep them.
I know, keep them.
And feed them.
Well, they have to feed them too.
Feed them, yeah. Now
792 people.
That they are suspects and they are in their custody. They have to take care of them. I imagine that they will have to improvise even if they don't have. But I imagine that they do have, the capacity to undo it. But the question is for how long? So we also have to have a whole government approach to this fighting of crime. Why, yes, EFCC takes the lead in economic crimes and some of these things. There has to be the involvement of other government agencies to try and sort this thing out properly. We shouldn't just dump it on one agency. I mean, it's the same question that I've raised, that, okay, EFCC is trying to arrest Yahaya Bello. Is it EFCC that is trying to arrest Yahaya Bello or the federal government of Nigeria? So we have to have a whole government approach so that there will be different agencies who will be involved. I guess, maybe police may even have a better capacity of dealing with this kind of a number, but I'm sure that they'll be able to sort out that important detail.
It's a police officer who begged to be anonymous because of how popular he is, actually sent us a message about this particular issue. And he says, cybercrimes are federal high court cases, and federal high court processes are slow and cumbersome. Says those Chinese are in prison, Chinese nationals are in prison. Judicial process is a bit slow generally, and perhaps due to many obvious reasons. And he also said it's possible that we have to start looking at the federal high court and these slow, cumbersome processes. Especially because what happens, and back to what happened on that day, what I said was very simple. We put this out there. It's on the newspaper. We are outraged. But the process of actually convicting people so that there can be actual deterrence, to this sorts of behavior.
Yeah, so
it falls in between the cracks at some point.
So we have to get back to the idea of special courts.
Special courts.
Yeah, I mean, that idea has always been on the table off and on, where especially corruption crimes, corruption-related crimes, economic crimes are quickly disposed of so that, you can move quick things along. And that's the only solution that I see. Of course, generally, we have to decongest our prisons and all of those other stuff. We have to find way for the judiciary to be, to move faster and all of the issues that we raise. But specifically, it would seem that special courts are the immediate solutions that we need to have so that this thing can be processed quickly, you can get justice quickly, and then you can move them along. It's a deep conversation that we have to return to.
Well, talking about courts now, it is a court case now that has made the headlines and hogged it for a few weeks going on. And yesterday we got the intervention of Afenifere, which is the case of Mr. Dele Farotimi.
Right.
They lent their voice to what is currently going on in the matter. And they say that, they're calling for its immediate release. Never mind that the magistrate court refused to grant bail or, granted bail on rather steep terms. They think that what is currently going on, with him not being granted bail is unjust. Those were the words that they used. I do not know what are your thoughts on the intervention of Afenifere in this regard, given that both gentlemen involved in this issue are Yoruba people? Yeah.
Well, I mean, first, I think that Afenifere is coming very late, to this matter. But it's better late than never. So it's still commendable that they were able to find their voice. But I'm not sure that they also went, they didn't go as far as they needed to go, in this matter. It's important to call out Chief Afe Babalola on this matter, because it is his name, and people have said, he just wrote a petition and all that, But they are doing everything in the name of Chief Afe Babalola, a respected Nigerian senior lawyer. Lawyers are the ones that should showcase for us, model for us issues around the rule of law. What is happening in the case of Dele Farotimi is an abuse of power. And so to find out that a prominent lawyer that we all respect is the cause of it, it's important for Afenifere to point this out to him in a public way.
Who is abusing the power here? Is it the courts? Because if you feel that your rights have been violated, the place to go. I mean, he went through the process, approached the police, wrote a petition, but police, you know, I don't want to use the word abducted, but that's what the Afenifere has used, abducted him to Ekiti, where, you know, they made him face the court. And court says, we're not going to grant you a bail. In this regard, who exactly is abusing their power? Is it the court?
And that's the point that I make, that, look, for me, we know the challenges that we have around all of these issues. You know, we have around police questions, judiciary issues. Those are recurrent problems. The new thing here is the use of the name publicly of Afe Babalola. Whether or not he is the one that is directly, you know, provoking this thing, let's leave that to the jury. The jury is out on that, if we wish. But without a doubt, it is Afe Babalola's name that is being dragged.
What do you want him to do? You want him to drop the case? What do you want him to do?
Like I said before, I think the choice of him going to criminal defamation is a poor decision.
If he felt criminally
defamed. It's a poor decision because, first of all, look, there are even issues, and we have to hope that Mr. Fakunda, who was the former Attorney General in Ekiti State, can come out on this matter. Lawyers have said that criminal defamation is not even in the books in Ekiti State. That when Fakunda was Attorney General, they removed it, just like Lagos and Edo. So what is going on? What is going on? So Chief Afe Babalola is an example. He's an example. He cannot afford to do this for too long. It's getting messy already, and it can get messier. That is, look, there's a saying in my language that if you want to deal with a situation, you deal with the people who have the highest significance. Afe Babalola has the highest significance in this matter. All of these things, they are being done in his name. It has been done in his name. We cannot hide.
If he minded,
that.
He would have said something by now. I don't think he minds.
Well, you know,
I don't think he minds.
So I expected that Afenifere would be more frontal, because now this is the socio-political group that represents, you know, a lot of the Yoruba elite. They should be able to say that, look, if Afenifere believes that there was an abduction, that there's an abuse of power in this matter, they should be able to cancel in their statement and say that, Baba, you know, please don't let them do this to your reputation.
Do you think that this could make him dig in his heels? You know, because here we are, we've seen some intervention, some attempt at intervention. Mr. Peter Obi visiting Afe Babalola. We understand that there's been some backroom calls between himself and Obasanjo. That I cannot verify. I don't know if you've heard that as well.
Yeah.
And Mr. Dele Farotimi saying, I did not ask anybody to go and beg on my behalf. Do you think that this particular call from Afenifere could make him say, look, all I have done is report to the police. However it is that he handled it, it's not my business.
Well, I don't think any reasonable set of people will accept that kind of excuse. Look, it's very clear. Look, some people have said that Afe Babalola is richer than the Ekiti State government. You know, you're not likely going to find many people in Ekiti, you know, who will be willing to stand up to the old man and say, sir, you probably won't find it out. And the point about Farotimi is that, look, the man was abducted. That is not a proper arrest. Lawyers have now told us that if you are coming from another state, if you are coming from Ekiti, to arrest somebody in Lagos, when you get to Lagos, you do an incident report. Where is the incident report? Lawyers have told us that when you have done the incident report, you take the warrant to a magistrate in Lagos who will examine whether it's a lawful warrant, and then there is an opportunity for the guy to be arrested to get a bail. That did not happen. You know, so, and then you took him to court in Ekiti, you know, and you are punishing the guy. He can't even get a bail in a magistrate court. Jesus Christ. It's unbelievable. And to imagine that it is the name of Afe Babalola that is driving this, no. It's mind-boggling. We are worried. We are worried that the people that should model rule of law for us, their names have been mentioned behind abuse of power.
Well, Afeniferi's statement was very, was very direct. It was uncompromising in the choice of words they used. I mean, they say they're not talking about the merit or demerit of the case. That's not what they're delving into. They're saying the procedure and manner of arrest of the activist was condemnable. That's what they've done. I don't know whether Ayo wants to quickly chip in on this one. Ayo.
Well, I'd have loved to, speak about that particular, raise questions about that particular case. But the only issue that I would like to just bring up with you, Mr. Akande, seeing the shortness of time, are the comments of the president in the National Assembly. So on the one hand, he said 11th Assembly instead of 10. And then there are those who have also referenced the erroneous, the error of 47.9 as opposed to 49.7 trillion naira of the total budget. Are those errors? Of course, the president owned the 11th Assembly as opposed to the 10th Assembly. Is that an error of script? I like the way he went about it, but is that an error of script or something that he was just being dramatic?
Well, the first thing I would say is that you have to give the president the credit for his candor. He said that, I wrote 11, so he didn't play any games around it. He took responsibility, so it's not a big deal. He immediately corrected himself and said that, well, I thought it was 11. And then, of course, he went ahead to make a joke about it. And then, secondly, the issue of 49.7 or 49.78 or whatever, you would expect that kind of figure stuff should be properly nailed down so that we don't have to deal with it. But I think they were quick enough to also make a correction. So it's not really a big deal. And if you look at the difference, it doesn't even come up to 1% of the whole budget. So, important, notable situations, but nothing to really worry about, in my view.
Some people say it was a joke that the lawmakers were taken as a prayer, but never mind. We'll see, what happens in the next elections. But back to this Mr. Farotimi's case.
Right.
What the Afenifere group is asking is that, the law be followed, but they also want him released. They think that is within the ambit of the law. He should not be denied bail. Yeah. That is not within the remits of Are Afe Babalola, is it?
No, absolutely, yeah, of course. It's and that's the point that we're making. That I made the point that look, let's forget whether we can even say that Afe is directly involved. I'm saying that look, by implication, look, that is how it looks. Now, it is the courts that should sort out that matter, and we have this kind of a confusion. Again, part of the problem that we have is that a high court is, on even serious matters, says that, we give you bail on liberal terms. A lower court, which is supposed to be, as the lawyers say, a court of summary jurisdiction, which means that it should act very fast, has delayed the bail, and they're going to have a third hearing tomorrow, still on bail for like 2 weeks. It doesn't seem very, very right. And Afenifere is correct to say that, the man deserves his freedom. People are talking about him. They are talking about whether there should be out of court settlement. But you see how the guy, locked down right there. What kind of out of court settlement can we even talk about when the man is still in detention for a crime that is completely, totally bailable?
Well, Mr. Laolu Akande, this is not my favorite segment for nothing. I have to thank you so much for coming on Sunrise Daily this morning. Always a delight speaking with you.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Laolu Akande is a former presidential aide. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's where we wrap up this beautiful Thursday morning. I can't believe it's Thursday already. Kayla told you it's 6 days to Christmas. We're counting down here on Sunrise Daily. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maupe Ogun Yusuf.
I'm Kayla Magwa. Have a great rest of your day.
I'm wondering which is the first day of Christmas. I'm Akande. Do have a wonderful rest of your day.